Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Joelle and I am a full-time reseller on several online platforms like Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. And today I have a what sold video. Now I have not been as consistent as I had hoped to be on YouTube for, let's be honest, the past couple of months. So I made a what sold video, I believe around a month ago. So for today's video, we are going to talk about what has sold in the past 3 to 4 weeks on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, and I'm going to go over my most notable sales of the last month. Before we get into it, I'm going to give you all just a little life update, announcement, whatever you want to call it, about what is going on with me. This does pertain to my reselling, and so if you want to hear it, this won't last too long, but if you want to skip ahead, I will not be offended. So a little update is that I am now a part-time buyer at Style Encore, which if you don't know, that is a buy-sell trade store. It's actually owned by the same company that owns Plato's Closet. So if you're familiar with Plato's Closet, Style Encore is basically the buy-sell trade store that is catered more to younger women to older women rather than that kind of teenage audience that Plato's Closet caters to. So I did take this job because I am looking to get a little bit of extra income. Right now I felt like I was in kind of this endless cycle because I did start full-time this January of 2023, and I felt like all of my income that I was earning, while I wasn't upset with the income I was making and the growth I have been experiencing, it felt like all of my income was having to go towards those bills, and I did not have a lot of income left over to source inventory consistently and to continue growing my inventory. So I needed to get a little extra income, and I felt like working as a buyer would be the best way to do it for multiple reasons. One is that I will just get a lot of experience sorting through people's clothes that they are trying to sell to this buy-sell trade store. I am the one that goes through it and determines what items we're going to pick up and what items we will not pick up. And so I am getting to see a lot of new to me brands. And working at the store, I'm getting to see a lot of consumer trends and really just what a lot of people are currently picking up. So you'd be very surprised what brands people like and what brands people don't. So to give you all another little announcement about my YouTube channel, I'm going to start a little series. I don't know if it'll be a YouTube short series or if it will be these long form videos. If they are long form videos, they will not be more than 5 to 10 minutes long. But I do want to start a weekly series giving you all a little insight about the buy-sell trade store industry. So if you do like selling to Plato's Closet or Style Encore, it will be very relevant information to you. So some examples that I will be talking about will be certain brands that we pick up, certain brands that might be worth it to sell, or maybe brands that you should consider selling on your own, what the payout structure is like, and what really goes through our minds when we are sorting through the inventory, and what we are thinking when we are giving you all the cash offers. So those are just little examples, but this will be a weekly series. I'm hoping to pre-record a couple of videos so I can stay consistent, but definitely expect to see that on my YouTube channel within the next month or so. So definitely stay tuned and make sure to turn those notifications on so you do not miss it, but I will definitely make sure to keep you all updated in my next videos. So without further ado, let's get right into the sales. Today I actually have handwritten notes and we have 24 sales to talk about. So make sure to get yourself some food, get a snack, start getting some reseller work done because this will be a little bit longer video than usual, but I'm going to try to get through it quick. So first up, we are going to talk about Poshmark sales. So we have this Shen New York silk blend long sleeve top. This sold for $28 plus discounted shipping, and it was a $35 listing. So the buyer ended up accepting my first initial offer that Posh Sidekick sends out automatically. My cost of goods was just 98 cents for this. This is not a very well-known brand, but it is probably around $150 to $200 top. So because it's not a very well-known brand, I had to make it a keyword-heavy listing. It did end up taking about 9 to 10 months to sell, but I'm still very happy with the payout because after fees and cost of goods, I profited $19.40. Next up, we have this Zaya Active Navy Blue jacket. This one sold for full price at $35 and I only paid $1.79. So this ended up being a really great profit. Zaya is one of those brands that I have had trouble selling their leggings for whatever reason, but I was very happy to see this sale on Poshmark. So after fees and cost of goods, I profited $26.21 for this jacket. Next up, I have these new tags, Avec la Fille Please forgive me for that pronunciation. I know I've struggled with it before, but it was a pair of purple acid wash joggers. These ones sold for $30 plus discounted shipping, and these took about 7 or 8 months to sell. So it didn't get as much attention as I had hoped for, and I did try to sell these on Whatnot for a little bit less, but some of these items, if your cost of goods are low enough, are definitely worth the investment. So, of course, I did not put my cost of goods or my profit, and just a little spoiler alert, I didn't put my cost of goods or profit for a lot of these, looking at my notes. So I will make sure to give you all the actual profit that I made up on the screen. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that for all of these items. But overall, I think I paid around $5 for these pants, and so hopefully I profited around $15 for these joggers. Next up, we have these Adriana Goldschmied Farrah skinny ankle jeans. I know people say that skinny jeans are out of style right now. That might be true. They might not be selling very well. However, make sure to run comps and look at sell-through rate for certain brands, because Adriana Goldschmied, I've had a lot of luck selling lately. I want to say in the past couple of months, I've sold 3 or 4 pairs, and I think they have all been either skinny jeans or maybe straight leg. So these ones sold full price for $35. Definitely a great sale. I considered listing them a little bit higher, but it was one of those items that I felt like I should price a little more accordingly to try to get that full price sale or reasonable offer. So I was really glad with my intuition there. And overall, pricing my items a little lower than I used to do when I first started reselling has turned out to be a really effective strategy. And it does show in this video because I have a few more full price sales to talk about. So for these jeans, I know I paid less than $5 for them. So considering it was a full price sale with no shipping discount, I definitely profited at least $20 for these jeans. And just a little hint, the Farrah skinny ankle jean is definitely a more popular skinny jean style. Definitely make sure to pick it up if the cost of goods are low enough. Next up, we do have these Lululemon Invigorate tights in Topography Multi. These ones sold on a $32 offer sent by the buyer. This was a $45 listing, so I thought that was plenty reasonable. And I know my cost of goods for these were either $440 or $450. So I did actually purchase them at a Style Encore 90% clearance sale. And Lululemon, although I haven't found a lot lately, continues to be one of my best-selling brands, not just to this year, but of all time in my few years I've had of reselling. So I know a lot of people say it doesn't sell very well anymore. I will say that I don't get as much money as I used to. I think Lululemon secondhand is getting a lot more popular, but I will still pick it up if the price is right. So for these, I probably profited at least 20 bucks, maybe a little bit more. And next up, we have a great sale, also from Style Encore. I sold this Sandro A-line ruffle dress. This one sold on a $55 offer sent by the buyer. It was a $100 listing, so some of you may have not accepted that. However, this was something that I picked up because I only paid $3.30 for it. If I find something that retails for over $100, I'm going to pick it up if it costs me that low. So I figured if I could just make a decent profit, which I consider a decent profit, making at least 25 or 30 bucks, hopefully more, then I'm going to accept that offer. So for this dress, I did pay $3.30. Of course, I did not put my profit, but I know I profited at least $35 for it. Next up, we have a very surprising full price sale. So for $25, I sold these 9 West plaid ponte leggings. These I originally bought for myself, and I ended up just not liking the way that they fit me, so I did pay $5.99 for them at the thrift store. I figured that I would only be able to make a couple of bucks for them, and I figured they would sit for a while. They only sat for about 4 or 5 months, and they got a decent amount of attention. So I ended up profiting $14.01. I'm not going to say that this is a Bolo brand, but if you do manage to find a good fall neutral piece like this, make sure to price your item right, and there's a good chance that it's going to sell and that someone will be willing to pay a decent amount for it. So this was one of those cases where I looked at the style and I figured it would still be worth to sell, and overall I was very happy with my profit. Next up, I do have these Can Celestine flare jeans. These ones sold for $20 in discounted shipping. I do think that they could have sold for a little bit more, but they sold on a 50% offer that I sent at the end of the month. With that 50% sale, I usually don't exclude anything unless there's something that I paid maybe a little bit higher because it was a retail arbitrage find. However, if it's something like a bread and butter piece like this, I don't care if I sell it for 20 bucks or if I sell it for 40, because if I'm making a high volume amount of sales, I am very happy with my overall profit. So I do not have my cost of goods here. Of course, for the next couple of sales, I don't have it either. However, these are a pair of jeans that I know I paid under $3 for it. So hopefully I profited at least 10 bucks for these. I'm pretty confident that I did, but definitely a great bread and butter pair of jeans to sell. And it's going to be a huge bonus if you can find a boot cut or a flare jean. So next up, I have these American Eagle, the Dream Jeans skinny jeans. So like I said earlier, skinny jeans are not completely out of style. Definitely depends on the brand. For American Eagle, I sell skinny jeans just as easily as I would sell a pair of, say, mom jeans or flare jeans. And these ones sold for my typical $20 plus discounted shipping on a $25 listing. For these jeans, I think I found them at a fill a bag sale, and so my cost of goods were at least under $2. Hopefully I profited at least 10 bucks for them, and that's typically my target goal selling American Eagle jeans. I usually will not spend more than $2 for a pair unless they're new with tags, and so I always end up listing them at 25 bucks and hope to profit around 10 to 15 bucks total. And speaking of jeans, we have another pair of denim that sold. So this was a pair of new with tags. We Wore What jeans, and it was a collab with Joe's Jeans, and they are the Danielle high-rise vintage jeans. These ones sold on a $38 offer sent by the buyer. It was a $45 listing, so I thought that was very reasonable. For my cost of goods, I want to say I paid $5.50. I know the exact location that I bought these from, and I remembered it was the most expensive thing that I bought. So they were new with tags though. Joe's Jeans is not always the best brand to sell, but this was a really good style, definitely a newer style too, and so that helped raise that value. They were a smaller size though, and so I do believe that's why they took a while to sell. However, I was very happy to receive that reasonable offer. So after fees and cost of goods, I'm thinking I profited at least 25 bucks for these jeans. All right, looking at these next few sales, I'm seeing that I've been selling a lot of leggings, pants, jeans. We're definitely in that season of fall. And so if you are looking at a thrift store and let's say you only have a little bit of time to source, make sure to check out these fall and winter sections. So next up, we have the LL Bean Favorite Fit corduroy pants, and these ones sold on a $21 offer sent by the buyer, and this was a reasonable offer because I had these listed for $25. So I only paid $1.79. LL Bean is one of my favorite bread and butter brands to sell. I don't find it often, but when I do, it always seems to be a really decent sale, and it always seems to sell pretty close to what my target price would be. So when I am picking up this brand, I am going to pick up any type of shacket or outerwear. Corduroy, I think, is going to be a pretty decent thing. This did seem to be an older style. However, it was a good fall neutral. So for these pants, I ended up profiting $15.01 after those Poshmark fees and cost of goods. Next up, we have another pair of corduroy pants. These are the Blank NYC, the Bond corduroy pant. These ones sold for full price at $30. I only paid $1.79, and so this ended up being a really successful sale, and it ended up selling within about 2 months of listing. So definitely a big win for me. I've never sold Blank NYC before, and I know a lot of their pieces don't sell very well. However, just like those LL Bean pants, this was a great fall piece. So after fees and cost of goods, I ended up profiting a quick $22.21. Next up, we are back to talking about Adriano Goldschmied. So for $29 on an offer sent by the buyer, I sold these Adriano Goldschmied, the stilt roll-up ankle jeans, and this was a $35 listing, so we have another reasonable offer. Now, like I said earlier, the Farrah is going to be a great style to sell, and on top of that, the stilt is going to be another good style. So I have sold the stilt cigarette jean, I've now sold the stilt roll-up ankle jean, and a unique thing I have noticed about Adriano Goldschmied that I have not experienced with any other brand of denim that I sell is that their smaller sizes sell pretty well. I know that these were a size 28, and so definitely not one of those smaller sizes that doesn't seem to have a big audience. However, a lot of my other AG jeans have been a size 25 or 26, and I've had no problem selling them, and they've honestly sold pretty quick. So for these jeans, I do not have my cost of goods. Of course, I want to say though I paid $1.79. Hopefully though, I profited at least $20 for these jeans. Next up, we have an Anthropologie brand. So for $20, I sold these Cloth and Stone black chambray joggers. This was a $30 listing, so I thought that was another reasonable offer. They didn't get as much attention as I had hoped for. Cloth and Stone isn't always known to be the best brand to resell. However, I thought that this would be a good bread and butter piece. I did only pay $1.79 for them, and they ended up selling within about 4 months of listing. So still a good, decent bread and butter sale. And after fees and cost of goods, I profited $14.21. All right, next up, we have these Spanx jeanish ankle leggings. These ones sold on a $30 offer sent by the buyer on a $40 listing. So again, a reasonable offer. I love getting reasonable offers, and I've been really happy with the ones I've been getting lately. But these jeans did end up taking a while to sell. I have seen a lot of videos from other resellers saying that Spanx just doesn't have the best resale value anymore, and it doesn't seem to be as in demand, especially for sizes medium and under. So these were a size medium. I think that kind of played into why they took a while to sell. So from now on, if I can find Spanx at a low enough cost of goods, I am going to pick it up no matter what the size is. But for these, I don't have my cost of goods or profit on here, but I think I paid at least $7.99 for them. So if I'm going to pay that price, I am going to make sure that it has a good sell-through rate and that it is a size large or up. Overall, though, I'm happy with any sale that is going to make me a decent profit. For these jeans, I know that I at least made $15, and hopefully it ends up being a decent profit. Next up, we have these Outdoor Voices dipped 7/8 leggings. These were new with tags, and they sold on a $29 offer sent by the buyer on a $35 listing. So my cost of goods for these, I want to say, was around $3 to $4. Again, don't have the exact profit or cost of goods on here, but hopefully it wasn't too much. However, this was my first time selling this brand on Poshmark. I've actually had a lot of trouble selling it. I hear a lot of people say that the brand sells really well. I do believe that. For whatever reason though, my listings are not getting a lot of attention. So if you have any advice for selling this brand, maybe I'm missing out on something, but make sure to let me know in the comments because I can't seem to figure it out. However, this one was worth the wait. Probably took around 5 to 6 months to sell, but I ended up profiting, looks like, at least $20 for these Outdoor Voices leggings, and I do have around 3 or 4 pairs still listed, so hopefully they will have a similar outcome. Next up though, we have this Pilcrow tulle baby doll blouse. If you don't know, Pilcrow is an Anthropologie house brand. It's going to be one of their most popular brands, and I have found that a lot of their modern styles sell really well and pretty quick. So this one sold within about 1 week of listing. It was a $65 listing, but it sold on a $40 offer sent by the buyer. I thought that was very reasonable, especially because it is just a tank top. Obviously, it has a lot of fun details to it. However, I have a tough time selling blouses, and I know that is the experience of a lot of other resellers. So I was very happy with the profit. I don't have my cost of goods on here. However, I know I spent under $5 for it. So after fees and cost of goods, I should profit at least $25 for this Pilcrow baby doll blouse. All right, that is it for Poshmark. We had 17 out of my 24 notable sales from the past month on Poshmark. I had a lot of other lower profit sales on there as well for my 50% off sale. However, very happy with my Poshmark performance, especially since starting my job. I've not been able to focus a lot the past couple of weeks because I've been trying to balance out that schedule. So Poshmark has still been able to carry a lot of weight for me. Now, we have one platform to talk about here I've not made a lot of sales on. I think I've still made under $200 to $300. I've been on this platform for about a year to a year and a half. So if that tells you anything, it's just not a good platform for me or for a lot of sellers. So we're going to talk about Curtsy. I had one sale and it was full price. Totally came out of left field. I was so happy to wake up to a sale, but I was equally as shocked. So for $31, this was full price. However, it was after the price drop. So I initially had it at $40, but they did end up purchasing it for that asking price of $31. I sold this Cameo Collective early on linen blend shorts. These were new without tags, and I did not pay a dime for them. So I ended up profiting $27.41. I put here in my notes that I love those low fees. So Curtsy, I don't always make a sale, but when I do, it tends to be a pretty high profit sale because of those low fees. So I'm not going to necessarily encourage you all to start selling on Curtsy. However, if you're bored one day and you feel like you have the time and the energy to do it, make sure to check out their imported listings, because you can now automatically import listings from Poshmark to Curtsy and they will basically automatically list them. There's some modifications that you need to make, but it is a really easy process. So this was a part of that auto import that I did. So if you do have the time, make sure to do it. And if you haven't signed up for Curtsy yet, I do have the link below in my bio. I don't even know what the discount is. That is how unfamiliar I am with the platform still, but I know that you and I will both get a little discount for it. So make sure to check it out and let me know your experience if you have done it as well. Now we're going to move on to eBay. eBay, I have not focused a lot on cross-listing in general since starting my Style Encore job. However, it also has carried a decent amount of weight. So very happy with my performance nonetheless. First up, we do have this soft surroundings tweed blazer jacket. This sold for $25.50 on 30% offers sent by myself. I do send 30% offers to all of my watchers initially, as opposed to my 20% offer that I sent on Poshmark. This is just an effort for me to drive more sales on eBay and just build up my feedback and make my eBay a little more visible. So I'm trying to be a little more consistent on there and make it at least a little more competitive with my Poshmark numbers. So I do not have my cost of goods or profit. I don't think I have it for any of these eBay sales. So I apologize that I won't be able to talk about it, but I will put it up on the screen. I do know though that this thing cost me at least $2 or less. So hopefully after fees and cost of goods, I profited around 18 or 19 bucks. And next up, we have these Commando faux leather split front pant. These were new with tags. It was a retail arbitrage find. I want to say I paid $18 to $20 for them. So they sold full price for 60 bucks. Not the best profit and definitely not what I hoped for. I look at Commando as being in the same boat as Spanx. So if you do find a larger size, I think that that value is going to go up a lot and it might sell a little quicker, but these were a size extra small or small and they ended up taking almost a year to sell. However, it still ended up being a decent full price sale and I was really happy to see that money hit my bank account. So I don't have my profit. However, I should have profited at least $20 to $30 for these new with tags Commando pants. All right, we have a few more sales to talk about. And next up for eBay, I have this new with tags J. Crew ruched pink mock neck long sleeve top. This one sold for $17.49 on the 30% offer sent to the watcher. My cost of goods was just $1.79. It was a Goodwill find, definitely a good bread and butter piece that I thought about taking to Style Encore. However, I'm really happy that I ended up listing it. It was a modern J. Crew piece, so I figured maybe that would help it get more eyes on the listing, and it actually ended up selling within about 1 month of listing. So I'm hoping that I profited at least 12 to 13 bucks for this J. Crew shirt, and it still remains one of my favorite bread and butter brands to sell. And next up, I have a full price sale for $24.99. I sold this Y2K A&A, which is a new approach denim midi skirt. So this brand is, I believe, sold at Macy's or JCPenney's. It's one of those house brands, bread and butter brands that doesn't really sell very well. However, this was a Y2K style, very trendy for 2023. And I know my cost of goods was just $1.79. Worth the pickup. It ended up selling within about 4 to 5 months of listing, which for a Y2K piece, that seems pretty on par. And with eBay's low fees, I'm hoping that I profited around $19 to $20 for this skirt. All right, now we're done with eBay. So for the last 2 sales, these are Mercari sales. If you've watched my recent What Sold videos, you know that I've had a lot of trouble with Mercari. I'm gonna take most of the blame because I have not been cross-listing a lot with it. Vendu does cross-list to the platform, and it is just as simple to do it as cross-listing on other platforms. I have not been seeing the same sales that I would get on eBay and Poshmark. I know Mercari has... Hey! Sorry guys, my dog just decided to bark at the mailman, which he does every single day without fail. So, next up, Mercari. I can't even remember what I was saying about it, but I just have not been doing a lot on Mercari as I do with Poshmark and eBay. It is a little frustrating to not see the sales, but I also know that a lot of it is because I am not cross-listing as much to it. So I do eventually want to get back to selling on there, but I really want to focus on eBay because I'm seeing a lot more upkick in sales on eBay rather than Mercari. But we still did get 2 decent sales in the past month. They're both notable, but full disclosure, these are the only 2 sales I have gotten on Mercari in the past 4 weeks. So first up, I do have this Lulu's Remarkable Black Lace Dress. I love selling Lulu's. It has been one of my favorite brands to sell in 2023. And I think this sale ended up making it one of my top selling brands of the year. So this sold on a $28 offer sent by the buyer. This was a $35 listing, so very reasonable offer. That's exactly what I would send if I were sending an offer out on Poshmark. My cost of goods was just $1.79, so I ended up profiting $21.88. With Lulu's, I love selling their really formal dresses. Any type of maxi dress or bridesmaid's dress sells really well for me. And this was a midi dress, so still something that I would pick up almost every time I see it, especially this lace fabric is really popular with Lulu's. I do pass up on a lot of their casual wear. However, if the cost of goods are low enough, I pick it up almost every time I see a dress that's in good enough condition. But now we're on to the last sale to talk about, and it is a full price sale after the smart pricing had kicked in. So I think I had it at 35 bucks and Mercari ended up automatically dropping it to $28, but they did buy it for that price point. So I sold this Romeo and Juliet Couture ruffle sleeve sweater. I don't have my cost of goods and profits, so I will put it up on the screen as always, but I know that this sweater cost me under $2 because it was at a fill a bag sale. And this took a little longer than I expected to sell. I did try to put it on Whatnot for as low as $5 starting bid, and it ended up never selling. I am looking at that as a blessing in disguise that it sat for so long because this ended up being a really decent sale. I do know after fees and cost of goods that I will profit at least 20 bucks for it. So I consider that a good sale, and I am okay with storing items for however long if they're going to bring me a decent profit like that. So I think this took around 7 to 8 months to sell, but again, for that $20+ profit, it was definitely worth it. All right, we have now gone over 24 of my most notable sales from the past month. If you are still watching, thank you so much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. And if you're still subscribed to me, thank you for bearing with me as I have been going through all of these changes with my YouTube channel and with my reselling. I know I've not been consistent, but I am now very, very ready to get back on track. I'm pre-recording videos and planning out videos in advance more than ever before. So definitely expect to see a lot more consistent content. And of course, if you found any sort of value in this video, I hope you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I do make weekly videos every single Friday, and I try to throw in a couple of shorts a week. And those are going to consist of thrift hauls and just little tips and tricks to reselling. So that is all I have for y'all today. So now that we are at the end of this video, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you for the next video.